everyone, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome back to Language Talk, your cozy corner to explore language teaching ideas with a twist. I am your host, Yunda Fitrianingsi, and today we have a really interesting topic, content-based instruction or CBI. Joining me today are two awesome guests, Nabila and Erika. Please welcome to them.
Thank you.
Okay, let's we start for the first segment. In this segment, um, for the first, I want to ask to Erika. So, Erika, can you explain what exactly is content-based instruction in language teaching?
Okay. Okay, thank you, Yunda. We should define the content-based instruction. Like, content-based instruction or CBI is an approach to language teaching where students learn the target language through meaningful content instead of focusing on grammar rules like usual or isolated vocabulary. Is our students use the language to understand and discuss the real topics like science, history, or social issues. The idea is that language is the best learned when it's connected to context and used as a tool to learn something else. So in CBI, language and content learning happen at the same time.
Okay, it's great answer from Erika. And now I want to hear the insight of you, Nabila, for my questions. And now I want to ask you, what's the main purpose behind using CBI in English teaching?
Okay, I think the main goals of implementation content-based instruction or CBI in English language teaching is to integrate language learning with meaningful subject matter so that the student can learn English naturally when interacting with relevant materials. Rather than studying language in isolation, students learn English by exploring academic subject, current event, or topic of interest which provide authentic context for language use. This dual-focus approach develops language proficiency and content knowledge simultaneously, making learning more purposeful and motivating for students. CBI reflect real-world language use where communication always has genuine purpose, helping students see English as a tool for discovering new information and not just as a subject to learn. By combining language goals with content goals, CBI creates a learning environment where language becomes the medium through which students access and interact with meaningful ideas and information.
Oh, it's so interesting. And what do you think? And I want you to explain how. Is this different from traditional grammar-based methods?
CBI differs fundamentally from traditional grammar-focused method by prioritizing meaningful content over linguistic structure, creating a goal-driven learning environment where language serves as a means to acquire knowledge rather than being the sole focus. In traditional approaches, grammar rules and vocabulary are explicitly taught in a predetermined order with drills often involving exercise out of the context, where CBI embeds language learning and authentic content of interest to students, allowing grammar and vocabulary to emerge naturally as necessary tool for understanding and discussing the content. Traditional methods usually separate language skill into separate components for practice, where CBI integrate reading, writing, listening, and speaking holistically as students engage with the subject matter through various activities. And most importantly, CBI shift from learning language to use later to using language to learn now, fostering higher order thinking skill and intrinsic motivation as students solve real problems and express original idea rather than just demonstrating correct language forms.
Oh, it's nice. I see. And for the last question for you, Nabila. So, based on your answer before, what are the benefits students can get from learning English through CBI?
Yeah, I think this question is very interesting. A student gains many benefits while learning through the CBI approach, including increased motivation as they engage with meaningful content connected to their interests and academic needs rather than learning language in isolation. The approach develops deeper cognitive process as students have to grasp complex idea while simultaneously processing new language, and thus improving critical thinking abilities and linguistic skill. And then, CBI provides authentic context for language use, making vocabulary acquisition more effective as words are encountered in meaningful situations rather than students just memorize from a list. And students develop academic language proficiency alongside conversational skill, preparing them for future educational or professional contexts where English may be required. Perhaps most importantly, CBI builds student confidence and autonomy as a student experience success in understanding and communicating about the real content, seeing themselves as actual user of English, not just a language learners.
Okay, I think your explanation is so interesting about this topic, right? So after this, I want to move to Erica again. So let's we hear together what the answer from Erica for the next question to her. So Erica, in this topic, can you give an example of the language content that can be used of in a CBI lesson for junior high students?
Like, okay, sure. For junior high school students, one good example is a topic from science, like the water cycle. A teacher can use diagram, short text, and videos about how water evaporates, condenses, and falls as rain. Like maybe you are in a high school student, in senior high school students, you learn about that. So while students are learning about the process, they also learn new vocabulary, practice reading and listening, and maybe even do a writing activity where they explain the cycle in their own words. It's content learning and language learning all in one. Yes.
Okay, it's a fact example, right? I think it's match to our topic. And last for my guest star, your explanation is super helpful to our listeners, to our audience also. And now let's flip the coin. For Erica, I want to know about one last question. May I ask to you for the
Yes,
last?
it's okay. Okay,
Okay.
you can ask me anything.
Yeah. If you think this is, I think this point is so big and interest. So, what challenges the teachers usually face when applying CBI in regular classroom here, especially in Indonesia?
This was a great question. That's a great question. Like I think one of the biggest challenges is that not all teachers feel confident teaching content outside of language, especially if it is science or social studies. Another issue is that some schools still focus heavily on textbook and grammar-based exam, so there might not be enough flexibility to try new approaches like CBI. And of course, students might also struggle at the first because they're learning both content and language. It can be overwhelming without direct support. So in Indonesia, we are not using English all the time, right? So that's all.
Hmm. Yes, I totally agree with you with your opinion for the last question. And guys, I think this has been a rich conversation so far. And thank you so much, Erika and Nabila. Please give applause to us. And for our listeners, we'll continue this discussion. We don't know when, but hopefully by watching our video, you helpful from our explanation from our guest stars, of course. And okay, thank you for your attention, and thank you for joining to me in this podcast, Nabila and Erika. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. See you.